Today I'm going to try to code these cube swimmers from scratch. So let's see how this works. First of all, we start with an assembly. We put everything inside an assembly, and inside it we have 8 cubes. And for each cube we have 4, I don't know what to call them, let's say flippers, cube flippers. Alright, so this is going to be Node.js, so let's see the CSS. This is the cube edge, and let's set it to 2 ends, and let's see the cube. And we give it the same height. And let's give it a background so that we can see it. Okay, we see them. Now let's absolutely position everything, all divs, and also the elements. Now that we've done this, let's put the assembly in the middle. Top 50%, left 50%, and let's set a transform. Rotate X minus 40 degrees. Let's copy this and let's make this Y, and we won't need this, at least not for now. And now let's position all the cubes. Except of course we haven't defined this number of cubes, so the number of cubes is 8, just like we've had it in the markup. And now let's pre-compute a few things like a constant, and this is going to be half the number of cubes minus 1, and we also have a cube offset, and this is going to be 3 times the cube edge, so this should be enough. And child, so we compute a z offset, and we set this as a custom property, and this is going to be I minus that constant m times the cube offset, and we set this to a transform. Translate z, and this should position them, and since it doesn't, it means that we need to set transform style preserve 3D, so that we can have 3D transformed children inside 3D transformed elements. Now let's give this thing a perspective. This should be enough. Okay, now let's go for the flippers. And we're going to do something else here. We're going to use a silent class, and we put this here. We call it square, and we put this stuff inside it. And we're also going to add transform origin also content box here. So now we're going to have again extend square, and this is going to be change this. We're going to have a base chain of transform. So this is a base chain of transforms, and the loop is pretty much the same, except we need to go to the number of flippers, and here we don't set the offset, we set the base transform, which is translate half the cube edge, and we might add something else, but first let's define this number of flippers. So let's go back up, and this is supposed to be 4, and we also pre-compute a flip angle, which is 1 turn or 360 degrees, it's the same thing, over the number of flippers. So now that we've done this, we also set a rotate here, but only for the second, third and fourth flippers. We don't need to rotate the first one because it's going to be a 0 rotation anyway. So if I is greater than 0, then we add a rotation, because here we multiply by I, and if I is 0, then it's going to be a rotate of 0, which does nothing. And this is the flip angle. So yeah, this is it. And here we're also going to set left of 50%. So yeah, this works fine. Now we take this from here and we set it on the after, just pretty much the same, except we have left 100. And let's set content so that we can see stuff. Okie dokie. Now let's set box sizing, border box, and now let's set a border, which is solid half the edge width length, cube edge, and it's transparent, and border left color, it's going to be current color. So yeah, this should work. Okay, now let's start flipping them, and we're going to do this by setting here an animation inherit so that we make things easier for ourselves. And here we set animation dummy and animation duration, an easing, let's say cubic, so it's going to be this. Okay. So infinite. So yeah, this should work. After we set the animation duration, let's say 4 seconds, and let's also set a percentage, let's say 70%. Okay, and now let's set the animation keyframes flip, and we're going to have the 0%, and from that we take this and we put it here, and we also add a rotation 90 degrees, and now we set this again, it's gonna be 100, and also that percent value, and and this is going to be minus 90 degrees. And now we move up, and animation name, and this is going to be a flip. Okay, we also need a base here, scale 1, should work now. And the next thing we do is fix the slide. Which means pretty much taking this, and we have the cube offset, which is pretty much the same as before, except we need to subtract one cube edge. Minus cube edge. So something's wrong. Let's see what. Oh, this. Okay. So yeah, except they shouldn't animate at the same time. So let's fix this. Animation delay minus I times, let's say, 0.2 times t. This should do it. Okay, so now they don't animate at the same time. So we don't want them to be all black, so let's set a base lightness. Let's say 16%. So we're going to have a base color from here, which is going to be HSL and 0 and 0 saturation, and we're going to have the base light. Okay. And now we set this on the cube. Color is going to be the base color, and for each flipper we set a current color, which is going to be HSL, 0, 0 saturation, and then it's going to be I plus 2 times the base lightness. And we're going to set an initial color to this current color, and we're also going to set pretty after a final color, which is the same thing here. And we take this and we set it here except to the base color. And here we set the initial to the base color. And in the flip animation we add the color and now we duplicate this, remove the transform, and take out this. This is final one, and it's like at half. So we fix this, and yeah, this is it. And they're flickering, but it may be because I'm recording. So yeah, anyway, if you have other ideas about other things I should code, just drop them down in the comments or on Twitter. So yeah, this is it for today.